Oh man, I just gotta gloat. I gotta gloat, everyone. This is probably gonna lead to a whole follow-up video. Even though I always say that, but never really do, because I do things in the moment. I really don't do anything scripted. But I don't know if any of you have heard, or probably many of you have already gone through this on Xbox One as well as the PS4. CyberPunk 2077 has been, I guess you could say, a huge failure. And I'm not saying in terms of like the story or any of that. No. I'm talking in terms of that thing will brick your console like crazy. And not just that, but the mapping on the game takes forever to load. There's a lot of videos out there on Twitter, on here YouTube, a whole bunch of other, social platforms, where they show all these big-time gamers who stream a lot and their reaction towards the game itself and the way that, it takes forever for the frames to start, catching up. The graphics are terrible. The loading on it is horrible, horrendous, I guess you could say. And I just gotta gloat. I've never really been the type of person who buys into a game no matter what hype they give. If I like a game, it'll get pre-ordered and, and then I'll enjoy the crap out of it. But when I heard of Cyberpunk, at first I was pretty skeptical. The hype that they gave it, huge open world, thing, and with the graphics that they showed at E3, super realistic. And I wouldn't necessarily mean like replace reality for that matter, but more like, wow, this is actually really good for a fucking game. But there was something in me that just didn't really trust the hype. I didn't trust the hype for anything. I've already gone through the many lies from game developers and the publishers, for that matter, when it comes to selling a video game. And Cyberpunk 2077 really wasn't as far as me getting impressed in the sense that I'm gonna get it day one. But I did feel something was wrong with it, because they did push it on us. They did try to impress us with it. Not to mention Keanu Reeves being in the mix. I'm sure a lot of people here are fans of Keanu, the films that he's been in. I mean, I've seen the guy since Bill and Ted. His biggest, I guess you could say, one of his biggest roles has been Neo from the Matrix movies, as well as John Wick. I wouldn't necessarily say he's a classic actor. I mean, he acts the same in every single movie that he's ever been in. 'Cause this is the way he talks all the time. And he tries to be a little serious, but at the same time, that there's just that little bit of California surfer in him. So no matter how much you try to take him seriously, it's kind of really hard to do it. So when you try to sell it off, oh yeah, Keanu Reeves is in it. Woo, yeah, that's going to be even better. I think the guy is behind the production of the game, because he really did show up a lot for that game. But this is where I'm going to get at, as well as the fact that Cyberpunk 2077 failed on Xbox One as well as on the PS4. It's also something that I wanted to talk to everybody when it came to the new consoles, the Xbox Series X as well as the PS5, that these companies try to fool you into believing that because it's a new gen console that it's going to be far more superior than the past or current, still, because they're still current. A lot of people are still playing them, especially with the shortage and the scalpers, the exploiters selling these consoles for twice what they were expected to be worth at market value. The whole argument that the frame rates were going to be better, that the graphics were going to be more realistic, that they were going to be running through a lot quicker, the loading time was going to be faster, everything else, and they kept pushing the whole graphics thing. Graphics. It wasn't going to be any more 4K. It was going to be 8K. It was going to be 1080. It was going to be 160. It wasn't going to be 60 frames per second. It was going to be 120 frames per second. Basically, they're trying to make and play it off as if it was better than your actual reality. Like, you're not playing the game, but better than your reality. That the way it was going to look on screen was going to replace reality in itself. Here's one thing that I want you guys to look up if you actually do have the time. You're going to notice that there's a lot of medical studies that say that our eyes, as is, do not run on 4K. Our eyes don't go 60 frames per second or 1080. Our eyes really are less powerful than what they try to sell us when it comes to graphics and frame rates. So I don't know why everybody believed this bullshit with the new consoles, PS5 and Xbox Series X. I really could care less about that kind of stuff. You know what would really get and convince me to have bought any one of those two consoles day one? The space in the hard drive, and that you didn't have to install the whole full fucking game into the system. That's probably the one thing that would have got me to buy the new consoles more than any of the bullshit promises that they made about the frames per second and all that other crap, because basically it's not really having to do anything with the console or the hardware. It's actually more this falls more on the developers than it would on the console itself, because it really has nothing to do with the hardware. Maybe in some cases, yeah, it does. You know, like with the PS4, that it sounds like you have a fucking airport in your living room or your bedroom with the way the fan overworks and how loud it is in order to cool down the CPU and everything. The Xbox One, I really don't have any complaints. I mean, the fan doesn't overheat. It doesn't sound like a jet fighter barely revving up its engines. But I think I would have been more convinced on the new consoles if they would have done something about the size as well as the installation of a game. That would have gotten me hyped up. Not the graphics crap, which is why it falls back into CyberPunk 2077. That they hyped the game up so much and they made the game look awesome at E3. It was put on hold 3 times. 3 effing times. It was put on hold. You would have thought that with those 3 occasions that they actually, held the game back, that their testers, because like I've said in so many other videos that I've made, the testers are responsible to find out where the bugs are in terms of console power, with processing the graphics and the frame rates and all that other crap and the loading time and whatever. They have testers for this stuff, and I am insanely surprised that they didn't see this happening before the game was released. Why all of a sudden? And you can see there's like tons of stories you can look up online. There's tons of them. Some of them even from Wall Street, the Wall Street Journal or something, that talked about how the game did terrible on release, that a lot of people's consoles were bricked, froze, a whole bunch of negatives, and so much to the point where even Sony has promised, for those who actually bought it, digitally from the PS Store, that they were going to give them a full refund. Now, if any of you have bought the game and played it, and you know what I'm talking about, and I know a lot of you are going to be defending the game by saying, well, it's because it's still pretty new, and there's going to be a lot of updates. A lot of updates are going to take space from your hard drive, so you better start making room. There's going to be updates, hey, because there's going to be a lot of updates, and we're really sure that the game is going to do a lot better. Whoa, that's right, yeah! But it's got nothing to do with that. It's pretty much like how they did the same mistakes on Fallout 76, and I'm pretty sure all of you remember that, where they also had to give people refunds for the game and how bad it was. And this all falls, and it's not just the developer's fault or the publisher's at fault for this. It's everyone involved, and I'm calling all of you gamers out there. You're as much at fault over this as the developers and the publishers are, because none of you have demanded real quality games anymore. I know a lot of you say, well, the longer it takes, the better it'll be, but it's not always the case. If you've actually seen what's been happening, how many times has Cyberpunk been held back? 3 times. What did that do? Didn't do shit. It actually made things worse. Like I said, they have game testers there. They held the game back 3 times, and like I said, you would have thought that they would have spotted all of this BS before releasing the game. So really, this actually falls on everybody's lap when it comes to a blame, because not a lot of people are demanding anything anymore. There's no respect for the common gaming consumer anymore. The publishers and the developers, they don't respect us. They don't respect the fact that we're spending our money for their product. They don't give a crap about whether or not we like it or not. And I know that for a fact because I've seen a lot of comments when it came to the trailers for Cyberpunk. I've read so many comments underneath that says "shut up and take my money." Even on Twitter, even on Facebook with the memes, "shut up and take my money." That's the reason why they have no respect for us. That's the reason why they don't have respect for the consumer. Because you guys are so fucking stupid. Just to be part of the in crowd, you don't really think about what's going to happen if that game succeeds or not. There's a lot of variations where there's a lot of other things that I have things against when it comes to gaming and video games that nobody really puts any effort or thought into it because they're just either too lazy, too stupid, or they just want to be popular and be part of the in crowd, like I said before. So when it comes to the whole Cyberpunk 2077 thing, if you bought the game and you had your Xbox One or your PS4 bricked, hey, you know what? Sorry to gloat, but that's on you. That's on you. And I hope that the people that actually did not get their consoles bricked, that maybe you should hold off until there's, I don't know, I guess more new gen consoles. You know, after all the scalpers and the exploiters trying to sell these things for twice, even 3 times for what they were worth. Maybe now everyone will be a little bit more, I guess, vigilant when it comes to video games. Don't fall for the hype. Don't believe all the bullshit. Doesn't matter what celebrity is going to be behind it or supports it. I think it's time that everybody starts thinking about, you know, instead of thinking what's going to be the most popular trend or fad, to will it be worth my fucking money? That's what it's going to be coming down to. Because at the end of the day, the people that you're trying to impress, they're nothing to you but either viewers, subscribers, or not even friends. So maybe you should start thinking a little bit more selfishly in terms of self-preservation. Stop thinking about whether or not it'll make you more popular with the views and the likes and the you know, whatever else you want to. I don't know what other YouTubers go by anymore. But think more in terms of, will it be worth my fucking hard cold cash and my hard-earned money? Even though many of you get free money from fucking views, especially if you're monetized, bunch of lazy motherfuckers. But for everybody else that actually has jobs or actually do have to save a penny, maybe this will force you and convince you to be a little bit more cautious and vigilant when it comes to buying products from fucking publishers and developers that, quite frankly, have no respect for you, because they don't. They have zero respect for you. They have zero respect for us. But I made this video just to gloat, because I've had a lot of people tell me, "Oh, you haven't gotten the game yet? Oh man, you're a fucking loser. Oh, you're missing out." Oh, there's like, well, you know what? To those people that bought Cyberpunk 2077 and they break their consoles, congratulations, Dippy. That's why I don't get things on day one. And I hope this actually convinces people to be a little bit more careful when it comes to these kinds of things, because sooner or later, you're not going to have enough money to even get your fucking consoles fixed, or even to send them through the mail in order to get that done. So, Cyberpunk 2077, I bid you adieu. I shall never buy you until I get a new gen console, or there's actual updates on the whole frame rates and loading crap. I'm not going to get it. I was going to get it, actually. I was going to get the game, but then, like I said before, I had my doubts, and apparently my gut told me that wasn't a good idea to get the game, and my gut was right. So, this will just come to prove to a lot of you that, you know, when I say stuff, and I've predicted shit like this would happen, that's because I already saw it happening, and you guys should have heeded my warning. So, I don't know. Whatever. But, you know, tell me what you think about what happened with Cyberpunk 2077. Did you buy it? And if you did it brick your console? If it didn't, explain to us if there was any problems with the loading, with the graphics loading in the screen, if there were any glitches, any lag, or anything like that. I mean, I could look them up on YouTube also, you know, funny videos of Cyberpunk 2077, but I would prefer to hear it from you, the audience, what your experience was, and, you know, make sure to leave a like and share it with everybody else. And until then, happy gaming. And next time, maybe you might not want to fall for the hype, even if Keanu Reeves is really in it, because it really doesn't matter, because the guy's old, and he's, like, not, like, that cool anymore, but he's probably the nicest guy on the planet. But hey, you know what? Make sure you subscribe to Toxic Avenger, because he knows the truth, man. He knows the truth.